Have you ever been underestimated just because of the job you're doing? Sometimes, people can't see the potential in you and only focus on the dull present of what you're doing. I'm a prime example of that. I started my journey in a small food truck, making sandwiches, a job no one would think would be the beginning of something big. My name is Evan, and today, I'm going to share with you my story, a journey from being mocked to achieving incredible success. Before we continue, if you haven't subscribed to Heart Glow yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button now, so you don't miss out on daily inspiring and motivational stories. And if you're ready, my story starts right here. Every great journey has small beginnings. I remember those early days when I only had an old food truck, parked on a busy street corner, serving simple sandwiches. Day after day, I faced the harsh challenges of running a food truck, from preparing the ingredients to serving customers in a cramped and rushed space. A food truck is not a fancy place. It's not a restaurant with clean tables and sparkling lights. But it's where I started, where each sandwich I made carried the passion and big dreams of a different future. There were rainy days when no customers showed up, and I'd sit there, staring out the foggy window, wondering if things would ever get better. But I knew that every day I stood there, every sandwich I made was a step forward. That's how I began, and I believe that anything big can start from small steps like these. There were times when I could clearly feel the contempt from those around me. They looked at me, a guy standing behind the food truck counter, with eyes that said, "Just another regular employee." Even though I worked hard, those looks seemed to say, "You're nothing special, just another worker like everyone else." Every time someone asked about my dreams, I'd get responses like, "What do you think you're going to do with this food truck? Or if you keep doing this, you're not going anywhere." Those words felt like slaps in the face, but I knew not everyone could understand what I was dreaming of. They couldn't see the hunger in my heart, the big dreams I had hidden deep within. But no matter what, I didn't let those words knock me down. On the contrary, they only made me more determined to prove that nothing is impossible. Starting with what I had, I chose a simple sandwich recipe. The ingredients were nothing fancy, just cold cuts, vegetables, cheese, and a few slices of bread. But I always knew that to make a difference, I couldn't stick with that simplicity forever. I always dreamed of a special recipe, a sandwich that would make anyone who tasted it remember it forever. But the problem was, I didn't have enough money to experiment with different recipes. So, I could only create with the ingredients I had. Each day, I'd try something new, add a slice of cucumber, try a new type of cheese, or change the way I made the sauce. Every time I tried something new, I learned more, and these small changes gradually formed a sandwich that I was proud of. It wasn't perfect yet, but I could feel the difference in every sandwich I made. And I knew that even though it was just the beginning, it was getting me closer to my dream. Money was always a big issue for me. Each day, I faced bills, ingredient costs, gas for the truck, and parking fees. Even though the sandwich business brought in some income, it wasn't enough for me to live comfortably. There were days when I barely earned enough to cover the basic expenses. During those tough times, I could feel the lack, but I also knew I couldn't give up. To save money, I did almost everything myself, from preparing ingredients to cleaning the food truck. I didn't dare spend money on anything unnecessary, and sometimes, I had to eat simple meals to cut costs. No matter how difficult life was, I always held on to the belief that one day, all these struggles would pay off. That's why I never gave up, because I knew that everything had value if you were persistent. The area where I parked my food truck had a lot of competition. Every other food truck had their own appealing dishes, and customers often had a hard time deciding. Sometimes, I'd stand inside the truck, watching people line up in front of my competitors, while mine had just a few scattered customers. I couldn't help but feel disappointed. In those moments, I'd question if I was doing the right thing. Would this food truck be enough to make a difference in such a competitive world? But then I realized that competition wasn't something to be afraid of. It was the fuel that pushed me to get better, to never rest on my laurels. Every day, I'd look at my competitors and learn from them. I learned how they managed their trucks, how they served customers, how they marketed their food. I didn't see them as enemies but as fellow travelers helping me improve. Despite being ridiculed, despite facing countless obstacles, I never gave up on my dream of having a real restaurant. People might have laughed at me, told me not to dream, but I understood that dreams are essential in life. I always pictured myself having my own restaurant, where I could serve amazing food that everyone would love, a place where no one could ever look down on me again. Those difficult moments were just tests, and I didn't let them stop me. I kept reminding myself that if I didn't start, how could I ever move forward? Every time I looked at my food truck, I remembered why I began, and that gave me the drive to keep going, no matter how tough things got. My dream still burned bright in my heart, and I would never give up. If you feel that this story resonates with your heart, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any upcoming inspiring stories. At Heart Glow, we share stories of kindness, transformation, and valuable life lessons. Be a part of this loving community and help us spread positive messages. When I started this journey, I knew my sandwich needed something special, a flavor that would make customers remember it. But the problem was, despite trying many different recipes, I still wasn't satisfied with the results. The sandwiches I made were just average. The taste was fine, but not extraordinary enough to build a loyal customer base. And while the sandwiches weren't what I hoped for, I felt like I was getting closer to discovering something groundbreaking. I started making changes from the smallest details, the way I sliced the bread, the ratio of meat and vegetables, even how I toasted the bread. But it still wasn't enough. I hadn't found the perfect recipe I was looking for. I couldn't just stand still, and I knew that if I wanted to succeed, I needed to dare to experiment, dare to fail, and most importantly, find true creativity in my recipe. One of my biggest motivations came from my loyal customers. They were the ones who came to my truck every day, eating and enjoying the simple sandwiches I made. And not everyone just ate to pass the time. Some customers began sharing their ideas on how I could create something more. Why not try adding a special spice, or, if you use spicy sauce, the sandwich would be even better. Their encouragement made me feel like a fire was igniting within me. They believed in my abilities, and that made me even more confident in my decisions. There was one special customer I'll never forget. She was an old friend who always supported me, and she said, "Evan, don't just make simple dishes. Your food can be special, it can make people remember it. Try being more creative, try something different." That was an important reminder. A reminder that I didn't always have to follow the old ways, but had to dare to think differently, to try new things. And I knew that creativity wouldn't just improve my food, it could be the turning point toward my success. Finding that special recipe wasn't easy. Every day, I spent hours experimenting, researching, and adjusting. There were recipes I tried hundreds of times and still didn't get the results I wanted. There were times when I felt exhausted and thought maybe I was being too ambitious. But then I remembered why I started. I remembered the big dream of owning a real restaurant. That's what kept me going. To find that special recipe, I couldn't rush it. Each experiment was a small step forward, even though I didn't always see immediate results. Some nights, I stayed up late making sandwiches, trying new ingredients, spices, and techniques. Sometimes, I failed, but that didn't discourage me. I knew patience was the key to perfecting my recipe. And I was ready to accept failure because I believed each failure was a valuable lesson. One of the most important factors in making a great dish is the ingredients. I understood that no matter how perfect the recipe was, if the ingredients weren't of good quality, the dish wouldn't meet the standards I wanted. So, I decided to source fresh, reliable ingredients. I didn't choose cheap ingredients. Instead, I searched for reputable suppliers, people who shared the same passion as I did. I wanted my sandwiches to not only taste good but also be healthy for my customers. This wasn't easy, as fresh ingredients often came at a higher price, but I knew that investing in quality ingredients was investing in excellence. And that's what I needed to make a difference. Every ingredient I chose had to be perfect, from fresh vegetables, good quality meat, to unique spices. I never compromised on quality for profit. One key element that made my sandwich stand out was the sauce. I spent a lot of time developing a special sauce that no one else could find anywhere else. I experimented with dozens of different sauce recipes, from mayonnaise, barbecue sauce, to spicy sauces and cheese sauces. Each one brought a different flavor. But what I was looking for wasn't just a tasty sauce, it was a sauce that could highlight the flavors of the other ingredients in the sandwich. Eventually, I created a special sauce recipe that I felt was perfect. It was creamy, a little spicy, and slightly tangy, creating a perfect balance with the other ingredients. When I tried the sandwich with this sauce, I could feel the difference. It was exactly what I had been searching for, the kind of sauce that would make my sandwich unforgettable to customers. After months of experimenting, I finally invented the perfect sandwich recipe I had always dreamed of. Every sandwich I made wasn't just a dish, it was a work of art. I had combined all the elements, fresh ingredients, toasting techniques, and creativity in every layer of meat and vegetables. But the most important thing was that I had found the special sauce recipe that I was most proud of. When the sandwich was complete, I knew I had found the unique recipe that no one could replicate. My sandwich didn't just make people enjoy eating it, but made them want to come back for more. And that was the secret to turning my little food truck into a brand, something that customers couldn't live without. This special recipe was the foundation for all the success I would achieve in the future. When I started introducing my new sandwich recipe to the food truck, I couldn't imagine what kind of reactions I would get from customers. Some were excited to try the new sandwich, but many others were skeptical. Some customers immediately criticized it, saying that my sandwich was too different, not like the ones they had eaten elsewhere. Some even mocked me when I said I had created something special. You think this recipe will make you stand out? It's just a sandwich. Those kinds of criticisms made me feel like I was being pushed back, but at the same time, they made me even more determined. The critics didn't know that every word they said became fuel for me to try even harder. Although I sometimes felt hurt, I understood that success never comes easily. Every change must go through challenges and hardships. And I believed that if my sandwich was truly good, it would prove its worth in the hearts of my customers. No matter how many people doubted it, the challenges didn't just come from the customers but also from the people working with me in the food truck. They were experienced, long-time industry veterans who were very practical. When I started testing my new recipe, I received doubtful looks and whispers behind my back. Some of my coworkers even thought I was wasting my time and didn't understand the business. They believed that just selling simple, easy-to-make dishes was enough, no need to get creative or complicate things. I remember one colleague telling me, "Are you dreaming? This sandwich recipe isn't going anywhere, stop wasting your time." Those words really hurt me. But then I reminded myself, they were saying that because they hadn't yet seen the true potential of this idea. If I gave up easily just because of criticism, I would never achieve what I wanted. And I realized that sometimes, to reach your goal, you have to be willing to stand alone, to go against what others expect. Certainly, not everything went smoothly. There were days when I worked tirelessly, experimenting over and over without seeing results. I started to feel exhausted, and many times I questioned whether I was on the right path. At that point, the criticisms from customers, colleagues, and the failures at work made me feel like I was standing at a crucial crossroads. Should I continue or give up? The feeling of discouragement and disappointment overwhelmed me. The days without returning customers, the days of trying new recipes that didn't give the expected results, were truly tough challenges. There were times when I thought I would give up, that I no longer had the strength to keep going. But then, I remembered why I started. I didn't just want to make sandwiches, I wanted to create something special, a brand that people would remember. That was the motivation that kept me moving forward, no matter how difficult the path was. Despite facing so many challenges and criticisms, I finally started to see positive signs. My regular customers started coming back, trying the new sandwich, and enjoying the unique flavor I had created. In particular, some of them praised it and shared it with their friends. Compliments from these first customers gave me the motivation to keep developing. I remember one customer saying, "This is so good. I brought my friends to try it, and they loved it too." This not only made me feel proud, but it also made me realize that my efforts were starting to pay off. Customers were not just coming back out of curiosity, but because they genuinely loved my food. And that was the first step in helping me believe that my sandwich could truly succeed. But my dream didn't stop at selling sandwiches from a small food truck. I started dreaming of a real restaurant, a place where I could serve my sandwiches to more people, where I could build a brand and expand beyond this neighborhood. However, when I shared this idea with the people around me, they mocked me. "Open a restaurant? Are you sure about that?" They thought it was just a far-fetched dream, unrealistic, and no one believed I could do it. I won't deny that I had some doubts at that time. But then I thought about all the people who had supported me, about the customers who kept coming back, and the positive feedback I had received. I knew that if I kept doing my job well, there was no reason why I couldn't turn my dream into reality. And even though people mocked me, I still believed that if I didn't chase my dream, I would never know what I could achieve. The challenges, mockery, and failures were never easy, but I knew they were just part of my long journey. Every time I faced difficulty, I became more determined. I couldn't let criticism and doubt make me give up on my dream. I knew that every success comes at a cost, and I was ready to face it all to reach my goal. Whether people mocked me or didn't believe in me, I remained steadfast in my goal. I believed that if I kept working hard and stayed confident in myself, I would eventually prove that any dream can come true. And I would never give up, no matter how many challenges I had to face. If you feel that this story touches your heart, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next inspiring stories. At Heart Glow, we share tales of kindness, transformation, and valuable life lessons. Be a part of this loving community and help us spread positive messages. Everything started to change when a well-known food blogger, with a huge influence on social media platforms, came to my food truck. At first, I didn't know who he was, just saw a new customer with a rather special appearance. After trying my sandwich, he was very impressed. "This sandwich is amazing," he complimented. That's when I found out he was a blogger who specializes in reviewing new dishes and sharing unique foods with the community. He decided to post a review of my sandwich on his blog. His post didn't just describe the fantastic flavor of the sandwich but also praised the creativity in combining the ingredients. I didn't expect that a review from such an influential person could bring such big changes. Right after the article was published, I received a flood of messages and calls from customers wanting to try my sandwich. That was a turning point in my journey. A positive review from a blogger opened doors to opportunities one had never thought about. As soon as the review went up, the number of customers at my food truck skyrocketed. The scene I never imagined became a reality. People started lining up to get their turn to buy my sandwiches. Honestly, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw the crowd. My small food truck had become a hot spot in the neighborhood. Every day, I had to work tirelessly to meet the demands of customers. Seeing the long lines in front of my counter was truly moving. I knew I was on the right path and that my sandwich was being well received. However, this growth also brought immense pressure: how to maintain quality, how not to disappoint customers. But this was also the reason I became determined to do everything in my power to not let this opportunity slip away. Recognizing the power of social media, I decided to leverage it to promote my sandwich. Before, I only sold directly, but now, I started sharing photos, videos about my sandwich, the baking process, and the story behind it on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I used these platforms not only to attract more customers but also to tell my story, about the challenges I had gone through. When I posted beautiful photos of the sandwich with inspiring stories, the community started paying attention. Food lovers and those searching for unique dishes began sharing my posts. Social media helped me reach customers from afar, and with each post and video, my name became more familiar. The power of social media helped me quickly build a loyal fan base, people who were willing to try my sandwich and support me every day. With the unexpected success of the food truck, I started dreaming of opening a real restaurant, a place with more space to serve more customers and grow my brand. However, I didn't have enough funds to open the restaurant immediately. But I didn't let that stop me. I decided to take the risk. I found a small space in a busy neighborhood with a lot of foot traffic. Although my finances were limited, I decided to borrow money and raise funds from friends and family to have enough capital to open the restaurant. It was a risky decision, but I believed that if I didn't try, I would never know how far I could go. Opening a restaurant was a huge turning point in my journey, and I was ready to step outside my comfort zone. Since I didn't have enough capital to open the restaurant on my own, I turned to friends and family to raise funds. This wasn't an easy step, as I knew that if I failed, not only my business would be affected, but also my relationships with loved ones. However, I had no other choice. I shared with them my dream, what I had achieved so far, and the potential for future growth. The surprising part was that they supported me enthusiastically. Some loaned me money, while others invested in the restaurant. It was the trust and support of my friends and family that helped me gather the resources to expand my business. I realized that success doesn't just come from personal effort but also from the support and trust of those around you. Thanks to them, I was able to continue chasing my dream. My first restaurant finally opened. In the beginning, I was very worried about whether I could maintain the business. But after a while, things started to fall into place. Customers loved my sandwich, and the restaurant began to turn a profit. Though the profit wasn't huge, it was an important step that made me realize that my dream wasn't far-fetched. Now, I can see that my efforts have paid off. I know I'm on the right path, and despite the many challenges ahead, I'm completely confident in my ability. Every day, I feel lucky for not giving up, and I will continue to fight to make my dream a reality. When I look back on my journey, I realize that simply selling sandwiches wasn't enough to make a difference. I needed my own brand, a unique signature that couldn't be mistaken. So, I decided to create the brand Evans Deli, a brand with a personal touch, offering dishes that can't be found anywhere else. Each sandwich is not just a meal. It's a part of the story I want to tell. I took the time to research and find dishes that fit my style while maintaining the high standards of quality I always valued. Evans Deli is not just a restaurant, it's a culinary experience where customers can feel the care in every dish and the creativity in each recipe. Gradually, I built a community that loved and trusted this brand. Not only did I have a unique sandwich, but I also developed side dishes and drinks, creating a complete and appealing menu. This brand is no longer just a dream, but a reality I've carefully built. The first Evans Deli store was more successful than I ever imagined. It didn't just bring profits, but also helped me believe more in my abilities. And when customers loved my food, they wanted to enjoy it at more places. I started planning to open more branches. I didn't want Evans Deli to be just a single store. I wanted it to become a popular brand in Los Angeles. With a solid foundation, I set out to find new locations where I could reach more customers. Each new branch has its own unique style but still retains the soul of the brand. At first, opening new branches wasn't easy. I had to find funding, manage staff, ensure the quality of the food. But with each new store opening, I grew stronger and more confident. My branches began to appear in busy areas, attracting a steady stream of customers and gradually becoming favorite spots for locals. This expansion was a strategic move to turn Evans Deli into a powerful brand. As the brand began to grow, one of the most important things I realized was that it's not just the quality of the food that matters, but the quality of the service as well. My sandwich could be amazing, but if the service wasn't good, customers wouldn't come back. I couldn't let my growth depend solely on the food. I needed to create a perfect experience for customers from the moment they walked in until they left. So, I took the time to train my staff, not only in how to work but also in how to treat customers. I wanted everyone who came to Evans Deli to feel like part of the family. I required my staff to always be dedicated, smile, and be ready to assist customers. This not only helped retain customers but also created a comfortable, friendly atmosphere at the stores. Service quality is a key factor in maintaining a strong position in the food industry, and I'm sure this is what will help Evans Deli grow sustainably. I understand that a strong brand can't exist without a great team. As we expanded, I didn't just hire staff, I also had to build a team that shared the mission and values of Evans Deli. I looked for people who were not only skilled but also passionate, people who worked not just for a paycheck but out of passion and dedication to the job. I held training sessions, not only teaching them how to prepare food but also helping them understand the company culture and how to serve customers thoughtfully. Each staff member understood that they were an important part of Evans Deli's story. When they smile and serve customers with all their hearts, customers feel the difference. We weren't just a team working together, we were a family. And it's this team that has contributed greatly to the success of the brand. With rapid growth and increasing exposure, Evans Deli began to attract media attention. Major newspapers in Los Angeles started writing about me, about the challenging journey and efforts to build a standout food brand. TV shows also invited me to share my story. Every time I appeared in the media, the number of customers visiting my stores increased significantly. The stories of my efforts and determination to overcome challenges inspired many people. And I realized that it wasn't just my food that people loved, but the story behind the brand that played a crucial role in its success. Media recognition not only helped me attract new customers but also made me feel proud and motivated to continue developing Evans Deli. Now, I don't just have one store or a few branches, but Evans Deli has become a famous restaurant chain in Los Angeles. My revenue is not only huge but also stable, proving that a brand can survive and thrive in the fiercely competitive food industry. Looking back on this long journey, I feel incredibly proud and grateful for everything I've gone through. All the struggles, challenges, doubts, and financial hardships couldn't extinguish my dream. The success I have today is not the end, but just a milestone in this long journey. And I know that, with continuous effort and passion, Evans Deli will go even further. Looking back to the early days when I only had a tiny food truck and a big dream in my heart, I never could have imagined I would achieve what I have today. It was a long journey filled with challenges and obstacles. I started with a simple job, selling sandwiches in a busy neighborhood, with nothing special about it. But I believe that every success starts with small steps. I had to work hard, sometimes not having enough money to sustain the business, but I never gave up. Every day, I woke up and threw myself into work with the hope that one day, I would see my dream come true. And now, looking back, I realize that it was those challenges that helped me grow and become stronger than ever. The food truck I started with was just the beginning, the first brick in the successful building I have built. Sitting here and reflecting on that journey makes me even more grateful for those early steps. Nothing came easily, but every success today is a result of sacrifices and relentless effort. This is proof for anyone who dreams big, you can start from anywhere. As long as you believe in yourself and never give up. The first time I saw my name in major newspapers, I couldn't believe my eyes. I vividly remember the feeling when an article about my sandwich was published on a popular food website, and it attracted thousands of shares. That was a milestone in my life. From someone who only knew how to stand behind the sandwich counter, I was now receiving recognition and attention from the media. But the most amazing part was when customers came to tell me how much they loved my sandwich. That feeling is truly indescribable. I wasn't just making sandwiches, I had created a dish that people loved and looked forward to enjoying. Every time I heard a customer share how my sandwich brought them joy, I felt that all the effort and struggles were worth it. This wasn't just my success but the success of everyone who has supported me from the very beginning. I knew I had created something special, and that became the motivation for me to keep growing. I still remember when I used to make sandwiches in that small food truck, and people didn't believe in my dream. They thought I was just a regular worker with nothing special about me. They couldn't imagine that I could build a big brand from that job. But I never let the doubts of others shake my determination. Every day, I worked hard, constantly perfecting my sandwich. When challenges came, I didn't give up. I always believed that my dream would come true. And today, looking back, I feel incredibly proud of what I've achieved. My story is proof that nothing is impossible. If you truly believe in your dream and are willing to work hard to achieve it, no one can stop you. Dreams don't come to you, you have to create them with effort and determination. And when you look back after a long journey, you'll see that those challenges were just stepping stones to help you go further. When I look back on my journey, I want to share this story with everyone, especially those who feel underestimated or ridiculed. I know that feeling when you have a big dream but don't get the support of those around you. There were times when I thought I would give up, but I didn't. I didn't let the mockery stop me. Instead, I turned those taunts into motivation to work even harder. And today, I want to tell everyone who has a dream, never let anyone stop you. My story is not just about a sandwich maker, it's about everyone who dares to dream and follow their passion. When you start, no one can see where the success will come from, but as long as you persist, you will see wonderful results. Don't be afraid of failure, don't be afraid of being underestimated. Because it's those challenges that will make you stronger. With the success I've achieved, I don't want to stop. I've started building a plan to expand Evans Deli across cities in the US, and even internationally. Expansion isn't just about revenue, but also an opportunity to share my story with more people. I want not only people in Los Angeles but also those in other parts of the world to be able to enjoy my special sandwich. However, to make that happen, I need to work even harder. Each new branch that opens is a challenge, but also a great opportunity. I've started researching new markets, looking for potential locations, and planning to build new stores. I don't just want to create a strong brand in the US, I want to see Evans Deli become a familiar name everywhere. I believe that with my core values, I can build a global brand. And that is my next goal. Finally, I don't just want success for myself, I want my story to become a legacy, an inspiration for future generations. I hope that through my journey, young people will realize that nothing is impossible if you dare to dream and never stop striving. I want them to understand that no matter where you start, no matter how many challenges you face, as long as you persist and innovate, you can change the world. My story isn't just about a brand, it's about a journey of perseverance and creativity. I hope that through my story, I can inspire many people, especially those facing doubt and difficulties. I believe that if we persevere and never give up, we will achieve what once seemed impossible, and that's my journey, from a sandwich maker in a tiny food truck to building a famous restaurant chain called Evans Deli. My story proves that no matter where you start, as long as you have belief, determination, and relentless effort, you can overcome all challenges and achieve your dreams. Every step, whether difficult or successful, is an indispensable part of the journey toward the future. If you feel inspired by this story, remember that you can start from something small. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it. Believe in yourself and pursue your dreams. If you like this story and want to hear more inspiring stories, don't forget to subscribe to the Heart Glow channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss the latest videos. Let's share this journey and spread positive values to everyone. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next stories.